Okay, well, we'll start off with prayer first. Heavenly Father, thank you for everybody that has come into the class this morning. Please bless and surround each and every one of us with your light of love and protection. And we ask that any type of energy that is hitting us on a humanitarian level be reflected off in a lovingly manner off of us so that we can carry in a balanced way today your path that you would like us to walk upon. Bless the animals and everything here on planet Earth and the ones that need your love the most. Wrap them in your arms and cover them in compassion and love and peace today. Amen.
Would you like me to play the song now?
Yes, this song, before we start the song, I wanted to let everybody know that, what we talked about last week was very, important, and so we're gonna touch upon, some of that, those topics again, like, especially the one about gratitude, that you shared. Because we do have to balance stuff with gratitude and, you know, in our own thought process, we have to balance in many different ways the things that we're thinking about. But one of the biggest things right now that's going on in the world is there's so much hate, and that's been happening over, you know, several years. But that's part of the heaviness that we're feeling. So today's lesson is going to be about, you know, how to say prayers against that type of energy that's hitting you. And also the song we're going to listen to is about that. You know, because when one or more people stand together in the same connection and the same belief, you can move mountains. Creator said you can move those mountains away. So part of it is praying for people to stop hating one another and to release love instead of hate, and to release the heart so that they can open up better for people to find compassion, because that's what we're losing because of the things that are going, that's happening to all of us. Like I told you last week, a lot of us are in survival mode right now. And so in our awareness, we need to just be in awareness of that. So, okay, Rodney, before I continue going, because I can just, you know, just keep on going talking about things, we'll listen to the song. And I hope y'all enjoy it.
If I had one prayer, I'd pray for people who hate. Maybe I'm out of my mind or deep in my faith. A man grows old when his soul's in pain. Only love can loosen that chain. But if I offer you grace, will it cause any change? And do I appear weak if I calm my rage? I think of revenge, but will I become the thing I despise when a heart goes numb? I'll say a prayer, hoping it finds people who hate. I send it now to heal the hearts of people who hate. If only one song could silence hate and end all the war before it's too late. If a cold mind could begin to feel, then the fear in our world has a chance to heal. I'll say a prayer, knowing it finds people who hate. I send it now to heal the hearts of people who hate. Pray for people who hate. All of our thoughts can set the stage for the power of love is larger than rage. When we take revenge, we will become the hate we despise as our soul goes numb. I have one prayer for the world to hear. It's a cry for mercy, last of our tears. Let hate dissolve, let the past reveal that love has shown us what is real.
Angels above, quiet the pain in people who hate. I'm sending one prayer to heal the hearts in people who hate.
Pray for people who hate.
May all be loved. May all be blessed. May all feel peace.
Pray for people who hate.
May all be loved. May all be blessed. May all feel peace.
Pray for people who hate.
May all be loved. May all be blessed. May all feel peace.
I'm sending love to people who hate. I must be out of my mind or deep in my faith.
What a beautiful song. All yours, ShaHaWin.
All right, I hope that didn't make y'all cry too much. When I first heard that song's been out for probably about 20 years. So, you know, that shows how long we've been the people, you know, that are working for Creator have been working to push this love movement, you know, and clear people's hearts. The little girl that's in that video that sang, you know, part of that song, she's in her 30s now. And if you look up the guy, his name is Carl Anthony. for about 15 years now. I have his permission. I made some cards with little hearts and stuff on it so that when I go to gatherings and stuff, I take these cards and I pass them out. And it has a thing where you can go watch his video and stuff. And it has a prayer about how to bind up the spirit of hate off of people so that you can loose love into your heart and off of your family. And so I've been passing these cards out for about 15 years now. Has that made a difference? See, this is what people don't understand. We might not never see how we impact or touch another person's life, but everybody that you come in contact with, you do something for, or they do something for you. But when you become aware of it, you can push the energy to create and produce what is needed in the world. And that's one of the things that I hope that my series of talks is going to bring about to other people, that you can create with your energy and your thoughts and bring about things that you want to happen, because that's the law of attraction, you know. And there's 12 laws of the universe. One day we'll have a class on that. But to be in all 12 laws of the universe, you also have to be in balance with yourself, because you can be out of balance with the universe. That's why it's so important to walk in nature. That's why it's so important to connect with the water. You know, we were talking about, I can't remember who it was that was saying that water was so important to connect with the other day when we were on our lessons. It is correct, because water is our life. And, you know, in one of the past lessons we were talking about, you know, I was telling you about the dream where Mama was telling me about the flood waters coming. The water that represents in your body it flows that energy for your emotional self and your mental self, because it's a conduit. And so the energy rides upon the waters of the earth. That is how the energy flows, and then the wind picks it up. So everything is connected, and the longer that we have these classes, and that y'all will stay coming to visit it when you can, you will learn a lot of this stuff, because I'm going to show you how the patterns and the cycles of these energies work together, and how they when they're together and you understand how they work, you can move the energy to heal people and to heal yourself. That was a gift, you know, that I was blessed with in birth, I guess, because both of my parents were medicine people. Both were native. Did I get brought up that way? No, because my life I had was not a very good life to start off with. Like I was explaining to y'all last week, my mom left me when I was 13 years old. So I was never, together with the family. But there was a reason for all of that. You know, I don't believe I would change anything in my life, because I wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't went through what I went through and experienced what I experienced, so that I could be who I am today, and understand that it's okay, you know, to have fears. It's okay to be sad sometimes. Did it take me a long time to get here? Yeah, it took me 60 years to learn, you know, that it's okay to have human emotions, because when that took place in me, I shut all those emotions off. And so I was very unbalanced on a spiritual sense, because that's all I was spiritual. And my mental and was spiritual. So when I had my heart attack, they showed me, look, all of that has to be balanced in you. And so I started learning that it was okay to have these feelings in your body, which is quite strange when you've never, experienced that because of blocking it off, blocking it out of yourself. But each one of us has done that in some type of way, as self-protection, along the lines of however we were brought up. And that's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to share it with somebody, but we've been taught not to because we're afraid of what everybody's gonna think about you if you share your secrets. Well, my goal in life is not to have no secrets. I do have many skeletons in my closet, and if y'all stay with me, on these series, you'll probably hear every single one of them because I'm not ashamed to talk about them. And that's what you've got to learn, is not to be ashamed of who you are. And you cannot be ashamed of your good parts, your bad parts, and everything that you've experienced, because you are not the same person you were when you were in your 20s. Let's just say, when you were in your 20s, you went drinking, you partied a lot, you had sex a lot, because that's what teenagers do and that's what young people do. But you're not that person anymore. So you learn from that. So, and it's okay to talk about it. And that's where we have to get back, is where we can talk about it, because the kids coming up today need to know all of this so that they don't hide their feelings. And you will realize there are a lot of children out there today that do have ADD and that are autistic. Autism is because they have a lot of creativity in their mind. They're special kids, we're all special. Creator made us special for a reason. I also mentioned in one of the series about mental health, we're having a mental health crisis too, because of all the issues that are going on in the world right now. But I will tell you, you can balance yourself enough. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as mental illness, because there is. It does affect your physical body, and there is an imbalance in your brain, and sometimes you do have to take medicine to balance that part of yourself. But don't be ashamed if you have to do that. Don't be ashamed of it. You're doing what you need to do to balance yourself. And it's okay. We have been taught to try to be just as perfect as we can. None of us is perfect. We will never reach that. We will never reach that. That's really an illusion. If you set it in your mind that you're going to be perfect and you're not never going to do anything wrong, then that's the lying spirit upon you, because you're in a human body, and because of the way the energy moves and causes you to have emotions and stuff, you're going to become mad, you're going to become angry, you're going to say stuff out of your mouth that you might stop yourself and go, why did I say that? And stop it and change it around, but it doesn't mean it won't happen. And that's the main thing, is the awareness and gratitude. I really like the oneness that you were talking about, and having gratitude, because yes, we should be thankful for everything that we experience, even the bad. Because if we didn't experience the bad, we wouldn't know what the good was. And that's what people don't understand. You have to see both sides of the coin to know what side you want to walk upon. And I told this to some people way back when I was in New Mexico doing classes like this. I worked a lot with the Muscalera Apache Reservation. But see, back in the day when the natives were, before they got put on reservations, they were in tune with Mother Nature. They were in tune with the animal kingdom. They were in tune with all of this, and they traveled around to different spots. They didn't stay in one place. They traveled, and it was really supposed to be that way because energy does not stop. Energy is always moving. And so when that took place and they become stagnant by being put on a reservation, it stopped that pattern of freedom that they had, and it was all they knew. That's how they lived. So they only saw one side of the coin. So once they got to the reservations, they got to start experiencing the other side of the coin. And that's how the balance comes in. You have to be able to see both sides before you can balance it up to see, what type of choices you're going to make to bring it about and create a better aftermath of whatever you're experiencing. So I was very, very, very thankful for you mentioning about gratitude, because a lot of us forget to be thankful for what we have. And I agree with you. I think that everybody once a day should write down something about gratitude and put it on their mirror every morning and look at it, until it is infused in their heart. That's kind of like wearing a medicine bag, and a lot of people don't realize this about the medicine that you put in your medicine bag will eventually end up in your heart, to the point where you would not have to wear your medicine bag. But the medicine bag is just a symbol so that you can remember and be in awareness of who you are and what that resembles and means for you. That's what's in the medicine bag. And a lot of people are not aware of that, but it actually ends up in your heart. We're going to touch on drug addiction too. Your son that's dealing with his drug addiction, I'm going to be doing prayers over the next couple months for him. But like I was telling you the other day, he's in a healing moment, and Creator put him in a very quiet spot where he can get into nature and really reflect and look at himself and look at the choices that he made that took him to where he was at in his addiction. The biggest thing that Spirit, and I'll share with you, is that he really needs to work on removing fear out of his life, because he's very fearful and he doubts himself a lot. So if that helps you, because you're the grandmother and you have a big load to take on, because you're also taking care of the grandkids. But I guarantee you it'll all come around in that circle of healing. But if you can get him to really look at the fears and what he's afraid of, because fear comes in many different forms. Fear can come from the past, of you failing, feeling like you're a failure. But fear can also come from the future, because you don't know what the future holds for you. And so it can be very stagnation. It puts you in stagnation because you're afraid to move forward. But you will go backwards because you've already been there, so you know how you can protect yourself in that safety net. It's kind of like a safety net. Even though you know it's bad for you, you'll go backwards before you go forwards if you're stuck in fear, because of that, because you already know you've been there and you know how to survive through it. So changing your thoughts, and staying in love for yourself is the main key thing. And one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about is stuff that you can tell yourself to help you in self-love. Because it's the same thing with gratitude. If you talk about everything that you're thankful for, you also need to add in there everything that you are in love and carry love for. And what I mean by that, you need to say, I love my life. Because the more that you say love, the more that opens up the unconditional energy pattern and love of God to come into your life. It's like a doorway opening in the universe. And words carry a lot of energy with it. So gratitude, being thankful is one of the major words that carries a lot of energy, and also the word love. So when you're feeling down, or write it down every day and look at it, like I said, hang it by your mirror, but tell yourself, I love my life. These are just some of the things that I wrote down that I look at every now and then for my own self. Is I love my heart. When you have a heart attack, you learn that you gotta love every part of yourself, and I had to shut that part down. So did I really truly love myself? Not in the proper way. Yes, I did love myself, but not in the proper way, because I had closed that part off so that it wouldn't be hurt anymore. And so who hurt it the most? If you look at it, I'm the one that hurt it the most, because when I shut it down, then it caused me in the physical plane for it to really shut down, because I closed the door on it. So it was going to shut down, but nobody did that but me. And that goes back to, like I was saying, the awareness and what you spit out of your mouth. So every day I tell myself, I love my heart. I love my life. I love my body. I love my home. I love my mind, even though sometimes my mind can get very chaotic, especially if you get in a hurry, or if you get frustrated like I did. If y'all were sitting in this class this morning, y'all would have really laughed at me, because I got very frustrated because, I couldn't get on the Zoom. And so I put on some music to raise the vibration level, but I just started stomping my feet. And then I started laughing, because I said, I really need to dance. I need to dance, because I was so frustrated. But the minute that I started stomping my feet, I started moving the energy. But that was my response to being frustrated until I realized, I was like, oh, you know what? I need to dance. But this is what I, hope to connect with people with on this series, is that awareness that you can change your thoughts that quickly, and you can get out of that vibration that is causing you suffering. And it's really a beautiful thing, and it can be done by words, it can be done by stomping your feet, but back to what I was saying about writing things down about what you love. I love my sense of humor. How often do you tell yourself that you love your sense of humor? Probably not very often, because when I wrote that down last night, I was going to myself, I don't really think I have ever said that I love my sense of humor. I know I can be funny, but I have never looked at myself as a humorous person. So that's a part of, not seeing yourself and becoming aware of yourself. So you need to look at that. So I love my sense of humor. I love my eyes. And then, of course, I love every part of me. Because ladies, as you know, and I don't know if men have this problem, they might, I never have asked it. But, as women, we have some part on our body that we just don't like. And it's because we've been taught that, that, maybe you have big feet, your hair's not long enough, your hair's not thick enough, so, you gotta love every part of it. I have thin hair. My daughter has the thickest hair. I love her hair. And I used to, used to get so angry because my hair was so thin. And then I realized because of my thoughts, well, it was helping my hair to stay thin. Because, it's like putting a plant in front of you and you can really do this test. It really does work. And it works with water too. It works with everything. But you go buy two flowers and put them in the pots. And every day get up and look at one of those flowers and tell that flower, you don't look real good today. And then tell the other one how beautiful it looks. And look what happens to it by just your words that you say to it. It's a great experiment to do with children, so that they can understand how powerful your words are. Because that plant that you're saying, oh, you don't look good, or you look sickly, guess what? It dies on you. But you can also turn it around and bring it back and show, especially if you're using this as an experiment with a child, you can show how you can bring it back to life too, when it's dying, when you change the words. And that concept for the children is so important for them to grasp nowadays, at where we're at today. And we are the grandmothers and the grandfathers that have to teach this to the children. And if you don't have any children, that's okay, because guess what? You're gonna meet some child in the supermarket. Creator will put that child in front of you to either say hello to, give a hug to, for that type of nourishment, because we all need nourishment. And that's about what we're talking about today, about writing this stuff down about, I love my family. And I truly do love my family. We talked about my brother last week. It doesn't mean I don't love my brother. But I truly do love my family. And I send unconditional love to him. And that's what's really going to change everything, is the unconditional love and understanding that none of us are perfect. So it's not always going to be what we want it to be. But if we can be in an awareness of the love of it, like everybody loves to sleep. So when you can take a nap, what are you going to do? If you have time to take a nap, you're going to take a nap, aren't you? So that's actually learning how to love yourself, respect yourself, that it's okay to do that. I mean, before I turned 60, you'd have never caught me in the bed in the afternoon unless I was sick. Once you get out of that bed and make it, you don't get back in it until it's time to go to bed. But you learn now, you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow that structure that was created in you. You have to find your joy, your love, your compassion, your respect, all of that you have to find within inside yourself. You won't find it outside yourself until you find it in yourself. And once you find it in yourself, you can spread it to others. And that's what we're trying, that's what we're all here for. And right now we might have 7 people on this call or in this class. Imagine what it'd be like if there was 7,000 and we were all thinking the same thing. And we were all touching the same people with the same message. How quickly the energy could change. And that's why it's so important just to connect and reach out and know that you're not by yourself. Know that you don't have to go through anything by yourself. And it's good to connect, even though, you know, a lot of us right now, a lot of light workers and people that are in awareness, we actually just want to go find some property in the woods and run away from the cities and all the commotion and stuff. And why that is because we get over extended in the energy patterns that hit us. Because there's so much going on. And so we try to retreat back into quietness. But that's not where spirit wants us. Now, spirit wants us to be quiet within inside ourselves so we can be in awareness of ourselves. But they want us to connect to one another. They want us to love one another. They want us to honor one another. You know, they want us to inspire ourselves and inspire each other. You know, a lot of us, and I know when we get to the question part, y'all might, you know, you might want to chirp up on this one. When you get our age, you get to the point where you go, what am I going to do now that I can't really work? Or I don't live close enough to go do community outreach work or help somebody. What can you do? That's when you look into your creative side. Do you like to sew? Do you like to write? Do you like to be outdoors? Hug a tree. Go become a tree hugger. You'd be surprised how much the trees will hug you back if you just hug one tree a day. And go out there and hug that tree. You'll be surprised because the wind will talk to you. The birds will start talking to you. They might even come land on you. You know, you might be able to hold your hand out and they come sit in your hand just because you hug that tree. Because the more balanced you become in the nature's balance of energies, the animals are going to be able to tell that. And so they're going to come up to you and not be afraid of you. And so I know each one of us have experienced some type of connection, animal-wise, growing up, and wondered why did this take place like it did? And it's because you didn't hold fear in your heart. This is the self-love program. But this is where bingo, this is the bingo room. What room are you looking for? Can you show her on where the board is out there? Yeah. Oh, hey. Y'all give me just a minute, okay? Okay. Well, Tia, what room number is this? Where is, this is G15. Oh, I guess I'll stay there. It might be upstairs, yes, ma'am. You're welcome, have a great day. Sorry about that, y'all. We had a person, a new person that was lost, and I was lost too because I don't know where room 14 is. I might have to go check that out later. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, hugging the trees. Thank you. But you'll be surprised when you start balancing yourself to all this other energy like the wind. If you sit out and just listen to the wind can tell you stories. It will start talking to you. Whew. And I don't know how many people do this anymore, but I used to be a cloud watcher. So I would take blanket out and lay on the blanket and just watch the clouds. And I called them my cloud family because they would actually show me stories in the clouds. I would see horses, I could see people, villages, and I would try to show that to my brother, the one, that I'm having a little issues with. And he plumb out thought I was just crazy when I was a kid because he could not see none of it. He couldn't see any of it. But that was my favorite time when I'd get up in an airplane, was to get a window seat so that I could look out and see the Sky Family, because they would always show themselves to me. That there was bears up there, there were wolves up there whole communities up there. But you will never become aware of that until the balance of the energy within inside yourself and the love that you have for everything comes into play. Because a lot of stuff is hidden from us because of how we will respond to it. Now we could get into UFOs too. My true belief of the reason why a lot of us don't see UFOs is because it would scare them so bad that they don't want them to have that type of thought process, because they're trying to take us out of those patterns and thought processes so we won't live in fear and be afraid of things. So it's quite interesting to look, because back when we were going to school, we had science, right? And we had biology. And did y'all ever have to dissect a frog? Did y'all ever have to do that in class? Y'all remember doing any of that? Because they don't do that anymore in the classrooms. But if you think about it, that's what we've been doing with our life, is dissecting it piece by piece to see how we can fix it, how we can get it put back together properly, and understand how it works. That's why when people started talking about chakras, in our energy points in our body, I would laugh at them. And because everybody does have an opinion, but a lot of people would call it that was new age stuff. Don't look at that. That's new age stuff. Well, no, that's a part of your body. And you got to understand that's not new age stuff. It was just new stuff coming in to people's awareness. And until people realize that everything that's coming in right now has been in the circle, but a lot of people are just becoming aware of it being in the circle because they weren't balanced enough to see it and become aware of it. So it's not, now there's a lot of things coming in. So there are things that, there are boundaries. You have to set good boundaries in everything, like on the native world and everything, because you don't want to mix up all the stuff, but you also have to understand and realize that the universe was made as a whole. So everything is a tool to bring back into balance everything in the sacred hoop, which makes the whole. So you can't leave out anything because it's all connected. And when you start realizing that, you'll be able to pick out certain tools that will help you better balance yourself, because you will find that it helps you. It might not help me, but it might touch you in a way that it helps you. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's learning about yourself. And each one of us are different, but each one of us has the same emotions. That's what makes us so unique, and it's okay to not think the same and still be connected in the process of loving everything, and in the process of oneness, like you were saying, because that is the oneness. And we're all one in Creator. He's in us and we're in him, just like I am you and you are me. It's because we are the same. The only thing that's different is how we choose to walk it and how we choose to create our energy. And how we choose to love ourselves. So I choose to love me. I'm good. I choose to love me, and I choose to love everybody else. And you'll come across problems too, where you disagree with other people. And you're gonna have to learn the best way to solve that problem and still love that person at the same time. It doesn't mean that you have to, agree with them to love them. So just because you disagree with them doesn't mean that you have to cut them completely out of your life because do not walk in the path that you think they should walk. Because you don't know what type of path that God has placed in their heart for them to walk. But we're all walking in the same direction in awareness. When we become aware, in awareness, we will realize that we're all walking in a pathway that God has placed us on to connect to one another in unconditional love and beauty. And guess what, y'all? It's time for questions. It's question time. So I hope y'all have liked this class today. I mean, if you really just stop and think about it for yourself, it's going to bring up a lot of things, that you like I said when I was writing down the things that I loved. I never thought about saying to myself that I love my humorous part of myself, because I had really never looked at myself as being a funny person. But in a lot of ways, I am a funny person, because like just what happened this morning when I come in and got frustrated and was stomping my feet. Me, Colleen, and Leo we kind of just started laughing, and then I was like, I need to dance, and it was a humorous moment without even realizing, how funny it is. And the drugs, let's go to drugs for a few minutes and then we'll go to questions. A lot of people are doing the drugs and stuff because they're not ready to face this awareness. And the fear that it might change them and they won't be able to cope with how they're feeling emotionally. Because it does bring out a lot of the emotions in you that if you're not able to address or have somebody there with you at the time to help you address them, it can actually do a lot of damage to you. Because most of the time, I've worked with, Rodney works with people that are in drug addiction. I've worked with people in drug addiction. The biggest thing that I have found about being in drug addiction is the fear of and not feeling worthy or feeling unloved, because the whole family's in it, and that was a cycle pattern that the whole family lived in it, because that's how they survived and brought money into it, because you can't make money selling drugs and stuff too. And of course, some aspects, like we know too, it can lead to nothing. So when it gets to that point, that's when you have to start being creative, and help the person to see how they can create a difference and start making, Spirit saying what they need is to build a fire and sit and talk to the fire, you know, and let the fire warm their soul, you know, and guide them, because fire medicine is very powerful, but it also brings solitude. You can stare into the fire, and then it can also show you a lot of things. But we're going to go into questions, but I would also like to know from y'all if y'all would like me to do like a class on drug addiction and stuff like that, on things that will help. If y'all would like to do that, I can put a class together, you know, one of these Tuesdays for us to talk about that, or if y'all have any ideas. I mean, y'all might even have something y'all might want to share for the class. It doesn't always have to be me doing the class. Because we all have something to share, and that's what I want this class to be like, is that we can all share our knowledge and our wisdom together so that we can help one another. And that's all I'm gonna say. It is question time now.
But drug, there's many kinds of addictions. We have.
Can y'all hear Leo? Leo, please
Yes.
move up.
Yes, but not.
No, move closer.
Okay. Yes, but
Can you hear him now? Okay.
yes, but there's many kinds of addictions, not just drugs. It can be sex, it can be food, it can be so many things. And again, I think that's where the balance, we ought to be the balance in it. But yeah, they're all can be a problem.
Mhm. I could do, I could actually, if y'all would like, do a class on addiction and show the different addiction points. Money, you know, food. I could really, you know, I could do that, and I can show you the spirits that come with it, and how to break the spirits off of you. Colleen's over here shaking her head. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, let's have that class. We'll take a vote on that and see how y'all feel about that. But we'll go into questions now, and we know now that Leah wants to talk about drug addictions and addictions that can affect you and how to work through them. So I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it. And then we'll go on to anybody else that has a question.
I just want to say something. I think that I found in my life in recent years that this really self-criticalness, and I found that same self-criticalness that I had for myself, I tended to do to others. And the impatience I had with myself for my weaknesses or my problems, I had same impatience with others. And I mean, in recent months, I have worked really hard at trying to love myself more and take care of myself more. I mean, spend more time in prayer and I smudge and quiet time in the afternoon and meditation. I found that the meditation really helped calm me. And when in several situations where my emotions started to rise and my anger started to rise, this feeling that I got in meditation would come down upon me. You know what I mean? That same that feeling that sit in peace, stay in your, you know what I mean? 'Cause, the more I practiced the meditation, the more I could see myself calming, in the midst of, hard times and things that, trials that came up or things that upset me or things that went on. And, so, I mean, it really ties in really, really closely with how much you love and have patience for yourself, and you can give it out to others, you know? I mean, if we don't love yourself, self-love is more important than we realize. You know, I was taught the whole time I grew up that you should not, that's selfish, should not think of yourself, should not do anything for yourself. You need to just do for everybody else, and you need to do for us, and you need to do what you're told, and you need to work hard, and you need to strive to make me happy, not me, meaning them. Like even work, you know, I mean, when I worked for in an office for 20 years, you know, and I strived to make them happy. I worked hard to make them happy. And I worked so hard that they just kept dumping and dumping more and more stuff on me because I could handle it, because I worked really hard, you know. And
Yeah.
when I retired, it was like I felt this horrible drive in me to push myself, you know. And I would do that to others, you know, like my grandchildren and stuff. I would say, get this done, get this done, get this done, you know. It was like this drive in me that I did to please the people I worked with, to please the people in my past. I mean, I lived in an abusive situation, you know, as a child, where, you know, we had to work really, really hard, way too hard. I lived on a farm, you know, and I got up at 4:30 every morning. I mean, I'm an 8-year-old, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
what,
only got like 5 hours of sleep at night because I had to work in the barn in the morning and work in the barn in the evening. And a lot of times, I mean, all the time it was barn work. It was working on the farm, you know, or working in the field, or there was never free time. So it's something that I am still trying to teach myself, to love myself enough to say, Pam, go lay down for a while, go rest, meditate, let go, you know, let go of your mind, let go of the strain and that you feel and the pushing, you know, that thing inside of you that wants to do this and get it done, you know. And I had to let go of that. And
yeah,
I find I can function a lot better when I do, because when I do let go of it and then I start to function, it's much better. And I had a day yesterday where I was in a situation here back a couple years ago where there was a lot of things going on, and the group that I was part of at the time was, you know, working behind everybody's back, and they would say one thing to your face, another behind your back, and you know, and there was a lot of, you know, they were just trying to make themselves to take control of everything. Okay. And it was not a good thing because it was abusive, and I could see that. Okay. And but yet I love those people very much, and I still have the desire to wish I could be a part of that group again, but that is a toxic group to me, you know. I have to let go of that because it was very toxic, because I can't live with people who tell me one thing and then behind my back do another, who lie to me and tell me things that they're okay with that and they're okay with that. The problem was I was their record keeper, and I sat there and wrote notes on everything they said, you know, because
right,
it was my job. And then they go back and say, I didn't say that. Oh, it's in the minutes. You said it, you know, and they would deny it. And, you know, I mean, and got out of it because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to say it, you better do it. You better be
right,
right. You know, you better be straight. See, and that's really too controlling too, because nobody is perfect. And everybody says one thing one time and another time says, well, maybe I don't feel that way, maybe I should, you know what I mean, we tend to go back and forth anyways on things that we feel or things that we like or things that we think are right or wrong, you know. So I mean, but at the same time that it was I went for half the day with this. I mean, this is 2 years ago, and I'm still like, man, I wish I could go back to that. I wish I could go back to that, and and I have to sit down and smudge and say, Creator, take this from me, because I can't go back to that.
Well, also you need to ask yourself, what is it that is bringing to you that you are lacking with inside yourself? That makes you want to go back into that, because it's actually a energy that you're lacking receiving yourself,
I
you know.
agree. Yeah,
Uh,
and it is because sometimes, I mean, with 8 people in the house and I'm cooking meals and taking care of kids, there are times I don't get time where I need time, where I need some quiet time to sit in my little room here and
That's
drum or sing or pray, or, I want to do that as often as I can because it makes me feel better.
yes, okay, so we're gonna hit this one right on the head for you. Is,
Okay.
okay, one of the biggest things that, and you will have to bring this to your partner's attention and to yourself too, is you do not want to get back in the habit of where you're doing everything for everybody and not being
Yes.
appreciated because they assume, hey, she's always done this, she's going to do this. That's part of the self-love and respect that you're learning about yourself. And so you're not receiving that because you feel like you're being taken advantage of, even though, you are the one that is holding the family together. You're the strongest center stone, because you're the one doing the cooking, you're raising the kids, you know. So what you're gonna have to do, well, not that you have to do it, but let me change that word because that was not the proper word to use. Is to be aware that that's what you need. You need appreciation. You need them to say, hey, thank you for doing this for me. Or you need them to say, hey, can I help you with the dinner dishes, instead of all getting up from the table and going and sitting down and watching TV, plopping down in front of the TV, and you're in the kitchen trying to clean up the kitchen, put the food away, and you don't have that luxury time just to sit and watch a TV show.
Exactly.
Okay, and that has to do with teamwork. Okay, and this is part of the structure of the family unit that has to come back together. Everybody plays a part in that team. And if not, that energy is going to get lopsided, and guess what? You're going to become very hurt, and you're going to pulling away, and guess what? You're going to be spending more time meditating. You're going to be spending more time doing your drumming because you're not getting what you need from the family, which is your support.
Yeah.
See, that's going to have to be addressed at some point in time in a way that people understand, hey, we're all a team here, and this is what I need from y'all to help me feel better. What can I do? What can I do for you to make you feel better?
Exactly. And you really did hit the nail on the head, because that is a big issue. I mean, I've recently told my son a couple times, listen, I need someone to come up to me every once in a while and just say, everything's going to be okay.
Yes.
I would love to hear that out of your mouth to me. I need to hear that everything's going to be okay, because you're going to try hard to make it okay for me, I mean, and so that I'm not the only one trying to make it okay for everybody else,
Correct.
I need them.
See, so that's a part of your love and what you need from your family unit. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with telling them that, and getting them to understand, hey, we're in a team. This is a team. It's not just one person doing all of this. you know, so that your foundation gets stronger and people, and everybody that's in that will become stronger. And before you know it, they'll be asking you, how are you feeling today, mama? Can I help you do that? Without you having to ask them, hey, will you get up and help me do this?
Yeah, and that's what I have to do right now. I have to ask them. We have a chart. We have to assign duties, and even that I have to like bug them and push them to do their responsibilities, you know?
And that's because they're missing that one little key that they're in a team. And the team has to work together. Just one team,
Yes.
you know, one team member cannot get it all done by themselves. And that's the part of the healing of the sacred hoop that has to come back together, because, you know, they really bashed us as a family unit, you know, making both parents go out and work, you know, and separating the family unit so that nobody knows how to connect and become that team anymore.
Right.
And that's okay. That's why we're here. We're going to learn that. And that's part of self-love too, that you don't have to do it by yourself anymore. And it's okay to have those feelings. It's not okay to stay in those feelings. When you become aware of those feelings, then you need to address them with the others so that it can be fixed.
Yeah, you're very correct. Because I mean, in that other, when we were doing well in that other group, it was very much a very family oriented thing where we all worked together and everything, and then just some things happened that split us, you know. So sorry, my puppy.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
It's a cute
she's a
little-
sweetie.
yeah, pretty.
But yeah, there was a camaraderie at times that I really enjoyed. We were a drum circle. I mean, it wasn't a circle, but we drummed together. A circle, everybody's equal. There was no equality there. We lacked that. But here, I need to create that here. Because that is what I'm looking for. And it's why I think back and want that again, you know?
Yes, and see, it's an imbalance of the energy too. So the longer that it stays in balance, the more it's gonna cause you other interference in your emotional self, where it's gonna cause you to be angry, or it's gonna cause you to, you know, pull away from the ones that love you. And it's gonna do damage when you can address it, because each one, I'll guarantee you, there's somebody else in your household that's feeling the same way you were feeling, but have never talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. I mean, that's a really good thing. I think we can do that. We're starting to pull together more and more, you know.
Yeah.
But it's something we've been working on, but it is something that still has a long way to go to make us feel like we're all part of a family together. Because I have teenagers who are, you know, separating themselves and going off and hiding in their room, you know, and not for hours.
And that's what a teenager does, you know, because when they turn teenager, they know it all. And look, when you get in your 40s and 50s, you start wishing you were that teenager again, but you could take the wisdom with you that you had.
Really? I always tell them, now listen, when you turn 16, I get really, really, really dumb. But when you turn 25, I get really smart again.
That's funny. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
You know, it might make sense to have a whole session just on family. Because, you know, all the things that go on, like TV, games.
Can y'all hear Leo?
Not really.
Yeah, you gotta get up here, Leo. I'm sorry. It's just you have a low voice. You have a low voice. Can y'all hear him?
Yes.
I think it would be helpful to have a session just on the family can be, many things. But these days, like Margarita mentioned, that takes both, have to work now, which is really making it difficult on the family. And then we have all these distractions, like the TV set, the cell phones, the games. And it's okay to turn these bloody things off and talk to each other.
I'm so sorry. I didn't turn you over there.
That's all right. So anyway, I would like to see a class like that. It would be nice. I think that, because I run into it in my, I'm old as I am, I run into it, where you get out of balance and too much TV, you got to turn that sucker off or this or that, and go for a walk or talk to each other. So anyway, that would be nice. Thank you.
So Rodney, do you have any, does anybody have anything?
Of course, I just did want to go first this time. A lot of things, the gratitude is a big one. And yes, I would love a class on addiction. I need that because I'm elbow deep. I'm watching them do it all, stick needles in their arm, including die. So I would love a class on that, please. And gratitude to me is the highest expression of love. Like I've been homeless. I lived in a tent and I pooped in a bucket and I had no running water, no electricity. So when I turn my tap on, when I plug something and when I flush the toilet, I'm just so incredibly grateful. And it's a thing too, if we're not grateful for what we have, why on earth would Creator give us more? So we need every moment I wake up and I express gratitude. When I'm out offering tobacco, I express gratitude. It's my main focus because it brings such joy and a connection. And I've been told by my ancestors that we need to return to that childlike innocence and appreciation and awe of every day. You wake up and you see that beautiful flower and you're grateful. You hear the birds, you're grateful. And don't get caught up in, oh no, it's a day and I got to do the, no, great gratitude over every little thing. And it just, because what we focus on, we manifest. So if we're grateful for things, we'll manifest more things to be grateful for. Just like if we focus on the wrong thing, we'll have more things to focus on being sad and sorrow about. So gratitude is huge.
Remember what I told you about Shadow? Shadow's done ate 3 or 4 times before your feet hit the floor in the morning time. Because he's done went through your ego itself has already showed you what you've done for the whole day and might have went through the whole week of what you were going to do before you even put your feet on the ground in the morning time. That's why it's so important to, tell yourself, I am in balance with Creator today, because if you don't, your ego is going to take over and just fly with you. That's kind of what happened to me this morning. And so my awareness was when I started stomping my feet, and it was, oh, I need to dance, but that's, the more, like I said, the more balance you get and the more that you talk about it and just bring it into your awareness of being able to talk about it with somebody is going to help you greatly become aware and be able to start seeing the little signs and signals that are everywhere. Spirit is everywhere and spirit will talk to you in everything if you just know what to look for. And I used to tell my brother that and I might do this before I pass away, but I'm going to write a book called Do You See Your Signpost? Because how many signposts do you see before you, especially if it's a red light going, stop, and you go through it like, and you're three red lights behind it, and you're still going forward, and you go, oh, I should have stopped way back then. Because guess what? That happens to everybody in our mental self, so Rodney, I just love you.
Rodney, I've been there, done that.
It was a defining moment for me. It really was. I dropped to my knees and told Mother, you're either going to wake me up or I'm going to die.
Well, I think we all experience some type of moment for that awakeness to happen, because we're not, you know, here just to be here. We are here for a reason. And it is our place to find out what that purpose is. You know, and it's not that somebody can tell you, hey, this is why you're here. Because a lot of people can tell you things, you will know your purpose in your heart. You will know, you will be able to feel it, and then you'll learn how to walk it. You know, because if you listen to a lot of people like, and Pam, I'm gonna use you as an example, you know, you somewhere, this will help you too in your healing process. Somewhere as a young child, you were not given enough appreciation of just being who you were. And that's why it's still affecting you at this point in time in your life. That's a core, a root, you know, that when you heal that root, then the whole circle part of that pattern gets healed. And that could have come from your mama's side of the family, the DNA cords. I mean, there's a lot of things that we experience, you know, that, like I told you, it's like being in the science biology class, dissecting that frog. The more you dissect yourself, the better you'll be able to understand and see where you're at and how to fix yourself.
Yeah, I always tell everyone, my mother never said, I love you. Never did I hear that from my mother's mouth.
Well, you know,
Never.
I understand. And I have 3 children, and let me tell you, I never got a hug from my mom. But I could see that she could throw lightning, like I told you. My daddy called thunder, she called the lightning. But I didn't know. And that is called being naive, that you were supposed to hug and love on your kids. And I had 3 of them. So when I finally learned it, my oldest one was 12 years old. So she had went 12 years in her lifetime, you know, without me saying, hey, I love you, and giving her a hug or telling her that she'd do it good, because I didn't have that in my life. So I didn't know. I didn't have, I kept, you know, would tell people when I talked to them, I said that I don't have a memory to go back on and go, how do I handle this? You know, because there wasn't no example for me to go back on. So I just did the best I could. And let me tell you, I didn't do very well. You know,
I worked hard at it.
but
I definitely told my kids and my husband that I love them, you know.
yeah.
But I didn't say it to myself, that's for sure.
And so through the years I've learned, and that circle and pattern has been healed in my children and my own self, you know, to the point where that's why we're having these self-love classes. You know, that's what brought these classes that we're having right now, because each one of us in some form or fashion has experienced some type of letdown, of an imbalance that was not put into your structure, into your foundation. And that's why we're kind of like playing catch up right now, trying to fix it so we can help others fix, you know, and come together. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, this is Shalani, and I just want to say, hey, good morning, and I wish I was there dancing with you this morning because
Did you say your name?
Shalania.
Shalania. Okay, but that's so pretty, and I was wanted to say your name earlier, but I was afraid I was gonna mispronounce
Yeah,
it.
that's okay if you say it wrong.
See,
I
that's,
don't know why it seems hard.
it's
Too
beautiful.
many H's maybe, but anyway, yeah, this morning, well, I had a really difficult coming out about a dear close relative of mine who has a very rare type of cancer and is going to be going in for surgery. We'll be in the hospital for a long time, and then we'll have a very long recovery. Hopefully he will have a life, but that just really hit me, and I wonder why him? Why him? Because he's so good. He worked so hard all his life. He put himself through school, and he got into a profession. His students just love him, and it's just kind of been getting me out of whack and really hard to keep that balance. So this morning when I got up, it was exactly like you said. What did you say? You said shadow, and that's something I don't really understand that terminology because it's not like part of my background that I learned in life, and I hear everybody say it in archetypes, and so I don't know. I might like to hear something more to understand how that it integrate with the way that I understand things, But anyway, so I actually just, I kind of was like dragging my feet more or less, but with the gratitude. But so I just said, oh my God, I opened the window. I said, oh, look at the sun out there. I'm grateful for the sun out there because it's another day. It's a new day. I have the whole day. I don't want to be walking around in this grumbliness, And so then I said, oh, and I'm going to the call this morning. And so I just want to say hey and check in because I know it's getting late, but those are just a couple things. I did want to say something about the shadow and archetypes because it has to do with good and evil. And like even the song this morning about saying a prayer for those who hate,
Yes.
and I believe that, people who hate probably grew up without the support that they needed.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very, I've been around a long time, and I still always come back to that good and evil, and that, I'd like to hear some other ideas, sometime maybe, whenever you might want to discuss that or something.
Oh, yes, we will. Now, the shadow is also your egoic side, or if you're in religion, it's your unconscious, your carnal mind is what the Bible said, we call it shadow, but it's your egoic side. I don't know if you were with us on the first class that I did, but you can pull all the classes up on YouTube under ShaHaWin. If you just pull it up, you can find all the classes. But the first class was, and we had some microphone issues, but the next class after that, we retouched up so that you could understand what we were talking about because the microphone had messed up in the next class. We talked about shadow and spirit, so that might help you a little bit understand what I mean about the balance, because shadow and spirit is actually your male and female energy that comes through your body, and each one of us has that in our body. And it's called some people call it our unconscious mind and our conscious mind, or natives call it shadow and spirit. In the Bible, it's called the carnal mind and the spiritual mind, and then of course, ego and the
Well,
devil.
I'm sorry. I looked for the videos. I couldn't find them. Is there a link or something or so it's just under, if I just go to YouTube and is it SHA capital HA capital WI or?
I just grabbed the link and I'm just going to put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rodney.
Yeah, and that way you can just click on it and go to the other one. But yes, it's time to go. And Lisa, nice to see you. I'm glad you got to come and listen to our class. We're here every Tuesday, so hopefully you can come back and Lynn down there, and of course Pam, we love you. Rodney, would you like to say the closing prayer?
You know, I was thinking I'd like to bring my brother in, and I'd like to ask Leo to say the closing prayer, if he's okay with that.
Leo can say the closing prayer. And so here we go.
I want to do my best. Anyway, Lord God, Creator, we thank you for the blessings that you give us every day, and sometimes for our ungratefulness, and all the families that we have around us, and the things that we have been taught today. And we thank you for all that you do for us. Amen.
Amen. I would like to add also that, Father, we ask that for each and every one of us, protection as we go along in our day today, endeavors today with your love and protection, and also put this protection around our families until we meet again. I hope. And I will see y'all next week, same time, same place. I hope y'all have a beautiful day.